When should you stay and when should you go? There is a serious level of discernment required for knowing when it's time to leave a situation. Often we think about working environments and jobs. When is it time for me to stay? When should I be leaving this situation? And it's a challenge, especially for creatives. We want to be in places where we can flourish, where our creative gifts can flourish, where we can be ourselves uninhibited. But it's not easy because there are so many different factors at play. Of course, we have things that contribute to our mental health. We have the sort of levels of freedom that we feel and experience. And it's important to be able to be in a place, of course, where we can flourish in all areas of our lives. And sometimes we get this grass is greener mentality where we just think, oh, if I jump ship and I go to this other thing, it's going to be a lot better. And if you've ever done that and you think, oh, here's this really bad situation I'm in, I'm going to jump ship and it's going to be perfect. Life's going to be better. And you realize, oh, people are people and no workplace, no creative, space is perfect. And so there are challenges to this question of, can I heal in place? Can I actually grow where I'm at? And so that is what I want to talk to you about today. I'm just going to kind of free flow this a little bit. But my name is Tristan. I am passionate about helping creatives walk in their unique God-given gifts. And so let's talk about what it looks like to heal in place, to flourish where you're at, and to thrive in the spaces that you're already at. When it comes to answering this question of, can I heal where I'm at? Do I need to move and change my environment in order to heal and become the person that I need to be? Or am I in a situation where I just need to work through the process? I just need to get through this challenging season in order to see the good things that I expect, the good things that I am seeking after. It's kind of these two options that we often have and we're faced with. And yeah, it's not easy to be able to discern immediately where you're at. Sometimes there's this reaction to just, I need to get out of here. This environment is toxic. These people are not helpful and I need to go to something else. And that can be just a reaction to the emotions you're experiencing, the difficulties that you're experiencing. And so it's not always super clear. You may be looking at your environment and going, wait, maybe if I just stick it out a little bit longer, and this could be in anything. This could apply to relationships, but of course, as creatives, I think we're often thinking more about our working environments, often thinking more about the spaces that we are in and wanting to use our gifts in those spaces. So there is a significant amount of wisdom and discernment required to kind of figure out, like, okay, is this actually going to work if I jump ship and move on, or do I need to stay? Is this an opportunity to show resiliency, to kind of grit through this challenging season and reap the benefits and the rewards on the other side? For me, I was in a season, I was really frustrated in my working environment and I was ready to move on. And I actually went through the process of saying, hey, I'm actually going to move down into a part-time position and begin weaning myself off of this income and, try to find other income solutions. I was that frustrated and I just felt this unease when I made that decision. And I felt like God was telling me that I have more for you in this role. I have more for you in this job. And that was enough for me to realize, okay, yes, I'm frustrated. I am not sure how I'm going to be able to heal and then grow in this role. I don't know how that's going to work, but let me give it some more time and let me just kind of trust the process and stay where I'm at. And that is a choice I'm very glad that I made, because I was able to kind of get through a challenging season. And on the other side of that were so many positive things. Everything in the work environment drastically changed. The work environment went from toxic to very healthy in a very short amount of time. And it was really cool. If I'd moved on, I would have missed all of that. And so that's not the case for everyone. That's not always going to happen. That's actually, if you're in like a toxic work environment or an environment that is not conducive for creativity and being able to be in your gifts, that's not always the case. I think there are a couple of ways that we can sort of discern and look. For me, in my situation, I had people sort of on my side. I had people, even in leadership roles around me, who saw the problems that I was experiencing. They saw the challenges when I was saying, hey, I can't show up and be in my role. I can't show up and use the gifts that God has given me. There were people saying, I see that problem and let's work on it together. And let's fix this. And what are the factors that are in your control and what are the things that are not in your control and how can we work through those? So as you are thinking through if you are able to heal in place or if it's time for you to, take flight and go somewhere else, think through that. Like, are there people on your side? Are there people who see you and see your gifts? They know you as a person. They're not just interested in what you provide, the outcome that you bring to the space or the working environment, but they actually care about you as a person and your flourishing. Again, that's a tall order. I recognize there are a lot of workplaces that don't even really have that at all, and that can be a challenge. And so sometimes you're showing up and you just don't feel very valued, and that's a really hard thing. And so it's hard to know if leaving that is going to sort of allow you to experience being valued in another space, or are you just taking the baggage from that environment and moving on with it? Like you're not actually able to heal. You're not actually able to grow out of that situation. That's kind of the question that we're asking here. But yeah, making sure people are in your corner is super valuable. Another thing I would say is like, if you can name the problem that you're experiencing, like sometimes we feel off as creatives. We're like, man, I can't quite diagnose the problem, but I just feel off. I just know that this environment is not conducive to my creativity. I know that I'm not able to flourish here. Or maybe you have a vision of what growth looks like, what the future looks like, and you're like, it's not here. And so, question to sort of ask yourself is like, what can I name that is the problem and what is kind of unknowable? And so knowing like, okay, if I were to heal here in place, what are the things that I need to be able to have control of in a sense, or be able to communicate and say, this is the problem, this is the issue. And yeah, that can be a really hard thing to do. It can be hard to know exactly what that issue is. I think being able to name those things gives you more confidence that if you say, oh, the problem is where I'm at, I'm not able to heal in place, I'm not able to grow here, I'm going to move on, knowing that there are things that you're going to take with you. We're all people, we all have problems, none of us are perfect, right? And so being able to go, okay, I'm going to take these are the problems I'm taking with me. These are the problems I'm leaving behind. Becoming clear about that, I think, is very good. And as creatives, we can grow in that discernment because creativity, especially to an outsider, is very intangible. It's very abstract. But as creatives, I think we can continue to do the work of knowing, what am I contributing? What's good? What's bad? All of that, and being able to know how am I showing up? And what are even the negative things that I might be contributing in this season, whether intentionally or oftentimes it's just unintentional, especially when our souls are kind of weighed down by the environments that we're in and we're feeling like we're stuck. We can often just kind of lash out or become moody. Well, I know I do that all the time, where I just disconnect myself from the people around me. And I'm sure they feel that. I don't always ask the people that I work with, like, hey, how do you know if I'm in a bad mood? but I feel like often I show that. And obviously that's a problem. I think I'll leave it there. I think with those two pieces of advice, kind of knowing, okay, do you have people in your corner? And what baggage do you have? So that when you move on or you try and move to another environment, like what are you taking with you? What is naturally gonna come with you? I think those two things are really helpful to know and kind of discern, like, can you heal in place? Is it going to work if you move on? Is it going to solve all your problems? Or do you need to stay and be in this consistent environment? What's going to help you as a creative? What's going to help you grow and allow you to use your gifts more freely? That's what we want to be able to do. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. This is, again, just kind of where I'm at in my journey, something I was wrestling through and wanted to kind of talk through. I really hope this is helpful. I would love to know how this hits you, where this hits you in your journey. Are you struggling with knowing if you need to move on from a job or an environment? Maybe there's a specific hobby that you have and you're just not getting the results from it, or maybe even just satisfaction of like, man, I love creating, but this isn't working for me. I'd love to know where this kind of lands with you. But thank you so much for watching, and stay creative.